grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida where the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
Well, good morning to you out there. If you're joining us, it is the Fish Florida Show. An honor and a privilege to have you join us this morning. We are here every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. A multitude of ways you can listen to us. The easiest of all of them is, believe it or not, we have a free app that you can download. Download the app, absolutely free. It's not just free download. I just gets under my skin, those guys that tell me it's a free download. You download it, and then you find out after you've downloaded it, it costs you money to use it. This is absolutely free. There's no charge whatsoever. That's the easiest way to listen to us. Next easiest way, I would think it's probably going to be on our Facebook page. If you go to the Facebook page and click on the Contact Us, you'll connect right onto the streamer, our live streaming server. Or you can go to the FishFloridaShow.com. FishFloridaShow.com has a button up there that says Listen Live. You can click on that. If all of those don't work for you, believe it or not, we got a phone number you can call. You can call a phone number just to listen. You won't be able to get into the show itself, but you'll be able to listen to the show. 701-719-9704. Usually in the mornings on Sundays, I have Pam Worth with me. She is one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida. She's traveling this morning, and in her place has stepped up to the plate, and I am so appreciative of it, is Robert Warner. Robert, as any of you who have listened to the show at all know that Robert is one of my regulars. He is the editor of the Florida Fisherman magazine. He's going to step in and kind of co-host with me this morning, and I am so appreciative for that. Good morning, Robert.
Well, good morning. How's Riscala and everybody else out there?
Well, I am. My eyes are open. I'm dressed. I'm ready to go.
Every day I wake up, it's another great day, isn't it?
You know, I saw that. I don't know whether you were actually online or not, but I saw that you were online like 12. I was finishing the other show. It was about 12:30. Were you still up?
Yeah, I actually posted something about this show this morning, about 1 o'clock this morning.
Well, thank you.
It's funny because I almost forgot, and then I apologized for that, and I was going to sleep and went, I should probably post something. So.
Well, I am certainly appreciative of you taking the time to fill in for Pam, and you've done that for me a couple of times.
I love doing it.
Thank you.
I love talking to you guys every Sunday anyway, so.
Well,
I can just talk to you more. So,
so any fishing this last week?
No, I actually finished up the magazine, and we got that out in time for the 4th of July, and next week I get to go fishing, so I'm looking forward to that. And
what a 4th of July it was, huh?
Yeah, it was. It was a good one. We got the magazine out in time, and that's always a blessing, so I was a happy guy. I'm
very impressed with the magazine. You can clearly see that a lot of work goes into this effort, and what really kind of inspires me is to know that there's a group of people who are working together to bring forth an end product, and they're not fighting with each other like our government. They are working with each other for an end result, and the end result is very impressive. If you haven't seen the Florida Fisherman magazine, it is a digital magazine online. Robert, how do they find the Florida Fisherman magazine?
It's at www.flfishmag.com, and it is the collaborative effort of myself and Lindsay Sibley and Tyler Freeman and a bunch of other people, and you'll find them all in the credits. Darren Luce does most of the social media stuff, but you'll find everybody's name on the last page there. And but yeah, everybody just comes together and helps out, and we got new people writing articles for us every month, and people stepping up to send in lots of great content for the magazine. So and we are very thankful for all of them.
And people can send in their stories. Can't promise you that he'll publish it for you, but if it falls along his lines, the odds are pretty high in your favor that your story will get published as well.
Yes.
So to do
We'll
that,
certainly take a look at it.
how do they do that?
They just send it to pages@flfishbag.com. And as I had to post sometime over the weekend because everybody got a little over exuberant on the 4th of July, we have 3 rules. There are only 3. You cannot talk politics, you cannot talk religion, and there is no nudity. Those are the only 3 rules we have. Other than that,
That's fair.
we'll take a look at your article and we'll get it in there if possible.
That's fair.
Yep.
Can't think of anything much more fair than that. Well, like I said, Pam would normally be here with me, but she's traveling. I think she said that she was going to be in Texas. She was visiting family, and she's going to be en route, so she didn't think she'd make it.
Yeah, she sent me a message the other day that she was probably going to be on a plane about the time the show was on.
So we'll have her on next week and play catch up with her with regard to, she'd been doing some fishing and some tournaments and some things like that, and we'll catch up with her.
Yeah, she has. There's a miraculous picture of her and probably a 7-foot sailfish, 7.5-foot sailfish on a kayak. Not bad, So
it is amazing what they do. Now, hopefully today I will have. I hope I'm saying his name right. Janos Weisz. His name came to me via Pan. He is a kayak fisherman. He's the guy who caught the big mahi-mahi in a kayak. He caught a 35-pound mahi-mahi. So hopefully he'll make it on today, because I was very interested in hearing the story behind. Where do you put a fish like that? You're in a kayak. My gosh, it's not like
you just throw him in there with you, I suppose.
So I was curious to see about that. We'll have Peter Cammarano with JCAMM Lures, who will be on a little later. Betty Bauman with Ladies Let's Go Fishing. We're going to have her on today. Captain Neil Holland, I wanted to get an update about the ghost trap rodeos that they do over on the West Coast. And Mike Lendl. Mike is going to tell us a little bit about what's going on in the glades and things like that. This morning, with regard to the weather, let's take a look at the weather map again. We have all kinds of weather happening over Florida. Much of it is flowing in a northeast direction. There is going to be some showers, some heavy showers coming over the west coast here, probably about midday. It looks like they will probably cross over to our section. I'm on the east coast this morning. Normally I have Pam, who's on the west coast, so we get an idea of what's happening on both coasts. On the east coast, it looks like it's going to be happening later, towards the later part of the day, if these thunderstorms make it through. As far as the marine forecast, according to NOAA, winds are expected to be around 5 to 10 knots. Seas are expected to be around 2 feet, possibly less. Tonight will be about the same thing. The bay waters will be calm. With regard to what's going on the beaches themselves, really no major warnings out on the beaches, other than just be aware there are some areas where the risk of rip current is. Remember, when all this water comes in, these waves come in, they got to go back out. You don't want to be caught in that water when it goes back out. It is very scary. I've been caught in that several times. If you happen to get caught in a rip current, keep your head about you. Swim parallel to the shore. Swim along the same line that the shore is. Don't try to fight it. Don't try to swim against it. I don't care how good of a swimmer you are. It is one of the freakiest things if you've never been caught up in this thing. It will literally suck you out like a vacuum cleaner. So don't fight it. Go with it. Swim parallel to the shore. The best thing to do is to avoid it at all costs. If you just take a look in the water, you'll see where the waves are coming in, the water's going back out. Stay away from that area. The water's going back out. It's as simple as that. Some of the beaches have rocks around the beaches. Just be aware of that. Other than that, we don't have any other warnings going on. We don't. Let's see. Nope, no other warnings going on. They're expecting the seas to be relatively calm on the beaches, 1 to 2 foot. So it'll be a great day to get out there, providing that you avoid some of the craziness of the weather that we're going to have. On our side of the state, on the east side, looks like it's going to be relatively clear for a while. So you got some time to get out there and do something. On the west coast,
yeah, it does. It looks like it's going to be beautiful out there for fishing and just being out on the water today. So
yeah, on the west coast,
absolutely,
I think
get out there. So.
Some of that weather's going to catch up to you on the west coast here, probably in the next several hours. So if you're going to do something, you better do it in the morning. Let's see. I reached out to Summer, I believe it was Summer Warren. I reached out to Summer to see. Yeah, I wanted to get kind of an update of what's going on. Any updates that you have with regard to tournaments?
Not really. That's my go-to person. You just mentioned her.
Yeah.
If I want to know what's going on in the tournament world, that's who I talk to.
Well, she's enjoying some time with her family,
she
and
does the Chase and Tails tournaments.
Right.
And she's a great lady, and
she's
does a lot for the sport. So
she's enjoying time with her family. So I said I'd catch up with her when she gets back. So I was just wondering what's going on with regard to tournaments. Maybe I know Betty had a couple of things going on, so she'll kind of update us with what she has with Ladies Let's Go Fishing. I so much enjoy people who work with people sharing their skills, because it really does help in an overall scheme of things. It helps everybody be a better person. And when we have something like that, everybody benefits. And I always tell myself it's kind of a selfish thing, but I'm part of everybody. So if I can do something where everybody benefits, it's kind of a selfish thing, under it all. It benefits me as well. So we'll have Betty on. She'll tell us a little bit about you know what I like about her? She takes it from A to Z. She'll show you how to bait the hook, and she'll show you how to cook the fish. She doesn't leave anything in between. Yeah. You had told me about one of your people, and I'm trying to think of her name. I think she's in Louisiana. She has a bed and breakfast. She's another one.
Nicole Spence. Yeah. Nicole has come a long ways in this business. She was one of those people that when I first started off with the magazine just on Facebook, everybody said, "Oh, don't post her picture. She's just a model. She just looks good carrying a fish around." And turns out that she's a whole lot more than that. She is, in fact, a model. She has a modeling agency. But she has a dedication for the sport that is second to none. She can catch them, clean them, cook them, and now has a bed and breakfast.
That's what I'm saying. A to Z.
And is fishing everywhere all the time. She is a remarkable young lady. She's got a bed and breakfast. It's Nicole's bed and breakfast, or Nicole's Fishing Bed and Breakfast. If you're trying to look it up, it's on VRBO and it's on Facebook. She's got I think 10 units, most of which are houseboats. I think, or all of which are houseboats in
How cool is that?
Louisiana. And great place to be and a great place to fish. If anybody's not fished there, you should. Great place for catching yellowfin tuna and a lot of other great stuff out on the rigs. And
where's she at, Robert? Is it Louisiana?
She is in Venice, Louisiana.
Louisiana, yeah. Yeah,
and,
I seem to remember that's where it was.
Yeah, like I said, they can look it up. It's Nicole's Fishing Bed and Breakfast, and she's a great young lady.
You have some very impressive young people on the in the magazine. Stephanie Lynn, I speak about her a couple of times because she really impressed me. The young lady out in the ocean, I can't help but laugh. I would never do this. I don't care how much money you got. You'd not pay me enough to do what she does. She is not only a beautiful young lady, she's very talented. And she goes out in the ocean, she spearfishes fish out in the middle of the ocean. And the one that comes to mind, of course,
and when you say out in the middle of the ocean, she's not offshore. She's not like wading in or shooting fish off the reef. She's out in 500-600 feet of water shooting fish. So.
My goodness! So that's another one. There's a couple of others that I think of that you'll find stories about them in the magazine as well.
There's a great article, and if everybody takes a look at the magazine, it's called Tuna Wars. Great story about a monumental fight with a bluefin tuna that's in there, so you can check that out. And there's always good stuff out there. People I'm so happy that they share their stuff, and there's a lot of adventures that go out there on the water. And Stephanie Lynn is definitely an adventurer, and there's a whole bunch of others out there, and we try to keep track of them.
And they all join together.
The list grows daily, so
they join together at some point in time to bring about this magazine, this digital magazine, which I think is the coolest thing, because not only do we have pictures, we have videos, which is like a step above. It's nice to have the printed stuff, but you can't put videos in the printed stuff. So you have this digital magazine, and it has videos of people doing a variety of things. And while I'm thinking about it, was it David Sively was the captain of the big swordfish?
That is David is Lindsay's husband. She's one of our editors. She is the editor of the magazine. And David was on last week, I guess it was, with us, or the week before.
Yeah, but was he the Was he the captain who had the big swordfish, or was it somebody else?
No, that's Nick Stanzik.
Okay.
Nick Stanzik is out of Isla Mirada.
Well, I had David on for this morning, but he had a last-minute charter, so of course he went with the charter.
Yeah, that sort of takes precedent. That's their money. So.
Yeah, that's bread and butter, and I totally understand. But I'd like to get that captain who was on there with the big swordfish. I'd like to get him on.
I'll try to get a hold of Nick. Yeah, he's the swordfish whisperer. He is the man. If you're going sword fishing, that's the guy.
And I've heard this from several people, not just you, from other people as well. He is like known in the circles of sword fishing as someone. He's the go-to guy. If you're serious about sword fishing, this is the guy to go to. And some of the things that I found out that he does goes against everything I learned. I knew very little to begin with about sword fishing, but what I did know, most of what I was taught first off was that you go at night. You don't go during the day. He goes during the day. And then some of the things that they did way back then when I went sword fishing one time, this is probably 30 years ago. We did it at night. We did it for about 5 or 6 hours, didn't catch anything. But one of the things they did, which really shocked me, surprised me, is they took a mullet and they stuffed it with a glow, one of those glow things, the glow sticks.
Glow sticks.
Yeah, they stuffed it inside this mullet. And you stick this thing in the water, and you can see the slight glow from it. So that was one of the things, that was my whole education on swordfish. But when it comes to someone who really knows what's going on, I hear that this captain really is he's on his game. He knows how to do it.
Nick Stanzik is the swordfish whisperer. There is no question about that.
Yeah, well, if you could, see if you can, if he's available, get him to come on, because I'd like him to share. That must be one heck of a story. 8 hours, I think they fought this thing?
Yep. Just short of 8 hours, like 7 hours and 50 minutes.
Wow.
Something like that. But
I'd love to hear the story.
It was quite a battle, but that was quite a fish, too. 757-pound swordfish is that's a war. So
I can't imagine 8 hours. I would be so wore. I don't think I'd ever go fishing again. You'd be so wore out.
Well, the good part, I think there was 3 anglers on the boat that day, and they all had a shot for a while. So,
and I bet they were all shot before it was all over too.
Oh, I'm sure they were. So.
One heck of a fish. My gosh. Yeah. So if we can get him, that would be great. He can tell us, give us a bird's eye view of what happened that day. I'm still looking for someone who can come on every once in a while and kind of tell us what's going on under the water. I had Bruce Marks on.
Tony was on, wasn't he? Tony Ludovico?
He was on a while back. I have to see about having him on again shortly. I had Bruce Marks on, and Bruce was telling us about I want to try to remember the name, the Bear Shoal Project. It's a reef project that's going on here on the East Coast that they're doing a phenomenal job with. Bruce was very active in helping that to come about. He gave us an update last week. I saw a post where they're looking for more stuff. So if you know of anybody that has construction leftovers, I call them. I don't know what you would call them. Discards, old concrete poles, big pieces of concrete pipe, whatever. Bruce Marks, M-A-R-X, on Facebook. Reach out to Bruce because he's looking for more stuff. They're building the reefs up over here, which I think is phenomenal. I think it's great.
Yeah. I'll try to get in touch with Bill D'Antonio, too. He is a dive captain off of the West Coast in Marco Island.
Oh, that would be great.
And not many people dive the West Coast, so people might want to hear from him.
Yeah, I'd like to know what's going on. We see so much of what's going on the top of the water. I'd like to see what's going on down below. I think they have a better grasp of the heartbeat that's happening, with the reefs and stuff. I'm always interested to hear what's going on down below. One of the things that we cheated one time. One of the things that we did is I had a friend of mine who was a scuba diver, and we were out in the Keys, out near John Penny Camp, and it's a protected reef out there. You're not allowed to spearfish, but you can go fishing. So we were fishing for grouper. The first day we were out there, we were fishing for grouper, and we just kept getting hung up. We just weren't fast enough, agile, and whatever you want to call it. We caught more real estate than we caught fish. We caught maybe 2 fish in a 4 or 5 hour period. So my friend said, "You take me out there, and I know you drop the bait, and I'll be in the water, and I'll take the bait, and I will put it right in front of their face, and then as soon as they grab it, I'll yank him back out of the hole." So that's how we were catching grouper that day. And we caught some pretty big grouper, and we caught, I think before it was all over, 7 or 8 nice-sized grouper, really nice-sized grouper. Had a great barbecue that night. But that's how that was the way that when I first learned grouper fishing, I could not get them. I don't, there's a skill to that stuff to be able to get them before they get you, because as soon as they grab it, they run for the hole. And if they get in the hole, it's over for you. You're going to get hooked up on real estate down there.
We were out attempting some black grouper fishing, looking for some big ones. About a month ago, I guess it was. And yeah, boy, if you don't get them out of that hole quick, you got about your first 10 seconds are everything.
You've got to be right on the ball. All right, we're going to take a break, and we will be back. When we come back, hopefully we'll have Peter with us, Peter Cammarano with JCAMM Lures. He'll tell us a little bit about what's going on and latest on his. Oh, here we go.
Nothing more.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Grace has some pretty stellar arms, like Serena Williams good, but her face is pretty disgusting.
Someone please tell him to go back into his closet and leave us alone.
Brittany's face is so stupid and I hate her so much. It's like a scientist created her in a lab to annoy humanity and didn't even do that good of a job.
Megan reminds me of a troll doll that came to life intent on killing us with her stupidity.
Why is Grace's head so big? It definitely has nothing to do with how smart she is and probably everything to do with how bloated she is.
He's so funny. Just kidding. Who would find this disfigured flamingo funny?
Never post a selfie of yourself. You look so ugly.
The only reason you have so many views is because we think you're a freak and we can't look away.
Megan is the main reason that the world sucks so much.
I would rather get cancer than listen to another Trevor Moran song.
You are a mistake. You should have never been born.
Drown yourself in a shallow puddle, please.
Wow, I hope she's sterile.
These really stopped being funny a long time ago.
You're so much more than the things that people say about you.
Those people have no right to say cruel things to you to make themselves feel better.
It's okay that you sound different than everyone else.
That's what makes you so special.
We will not tolerate it. We will not tolerate it.
We will not tolerate it.
We will not tolerate it.
Every day, people make me feel like I stand out simply because of the way that I look.
Every day, people make me feel small.
Every day, I face the cruel words of bullying.
And every day, people tell me that I'm brave for enduring this humiliation.
But we're not the brave ones.
It's the ones that say no to the bullying.
The witnesses.
If we all join together, there's nothing that we can't do. We will no longer be the silent majority.
When we see bullying online,
we will let the world know that we're going to take action with the eye.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
Our actions will overpower cruel words.
I am a witness.
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 There is power in words.
But it's nothing compared to the power of the actions that we put behind our words.
Visit eyewitnessbullying.org to learn more.
I am a witness, and so are you.
I'm gonna stand by you.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
We have ignition. Strap in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida. When the sun shines all day.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, we are back. It is the Fish Florida Show. I am your host, Riscala. This morning I have Robert Warner with the Florida Fisherman magazine. I'm trying to read and talk, and that's not working. I have Robert Warner with the Florida Fisherman magazine with me this morning. Normally I have Pam Worth, one of the top female kayak anglers. She is in transit and was not able to make it, so I've asked Robert to step in, and Robert has been gracious enough to do that for me. I appreciate that. So welcome back, Robert. We're back on the air, and in just a moment...
We are back.
Just a moment, I'll bring on Peter. I believe we have Peter on the line as well, and Peter's with JCAMM Lures. Let me say a big good morning to you, Peter. How are you, my friend?
Very well. Good morning. I hope everyone's having a good 4th.
Go ahead, Robert.
Absolutely. Or 6th or 7th or whatever day it is.
Well, we know this. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
That's true. A fact. Jimmy Buffett said it. It's got to be true. So.
Absolutely. But fishing here has been kind of spotty on the Palm Beach coast. Mm-hmm. There has been some nice kingfish, wahoo. I know a sea witch that I designed for a charter captain. It put a 49-pounder in the boat
nice.
Just a couple of days ago. Dolphin still seem to be, Mahi seems to be fairly pretty good. Not necessarily big, but it's still a good all-around weekend. And one of the things, we got into a discussion here at the shop about the theory, if you will, of putting a spread out, a trolling spread. Now, you can ask, and I'm sure Riscala and Mr. Warner, you all know that if we take 50 anglers, put them in a line, ask them the same question, we're going to get 50 different answers. And
absolutely.
Right. But seriously, at one time or another, they're all right. There is not a wrong answer. But
nope. Depending on the day and the conditions, they could. You're right. They're probably all correct at some point. So
now, setting out a spread, I look at it as it really is a theory that goes with it, and you try to bring it to emulate what you see in the wild. To see a ball of bait actually in the water is an incredible sight. You can see the pelagics, be it dolphin, tuna, or whatever, as they feed on it, try to bust that ball up. And as soon as it gets broken up, it immediately comes back tight again. Mm-hmm. So you have to draw the conclusion that tight ball is safety to that bait fish. All right? And you look around and you have stragglers. The ones closest, the stragglers closest to the bait ball, are the ones swimming most aggressively to get back to the safety of the ball of bait. As you pull back and get further away, the strength of the bait stragglers trying to get back is weaker, slower. They're starting to lose energy, starting to fail, until finally you look back and there's that one all by itself, and you know that's dinner for someone. I had one person that had a little trouble kind of going along with it. My age, my generation, sometimes we are known to be a little bit slow. But I asked him, did he know Hopalong Cassidy? Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I said, yeah. I know. You got Hopalong all by himself, white hat, white horse, chasing 12 bad guys in black hats and brown horses. Now, Hopalong didn't go around to the front to get the leader. No, he came one at a time and knocked off the stragglers, right?
Yep.
So that's the concept. And in setting up your spread, You have to think of that concept. The lures you put out closest to the boat, to the transom, are your most aggressive. That's where your teasers go, be they daisy chains, dredges, or whatever. They go closest. Then as you move back, you go ahead and the lures become a little smaller, less aggressive. Maybe we do have jet heads in there. Still have some divers, but they are not as aggressive as they are up front. And of course, when we get to that last one, that shotgun, stinger, depending on terminology that you're using, that one's running at least 200 or more feet behind everything else. That usually is a dart. It's not active. It's not moving. It's not. Some will use a small jet head. That's personal choice. I go ahead and I use a dart. Put a nice size strip and or ballyhoo on it, and then ask everybody to please be quiet because you want to hear the train when it hits that bait. and it will take it. We did kept a little chart for maybe a dozen trips, and we found out that almost 4 out of 10 strikes, hookups, were off of that shotgun. So that to me said, yeah, that goes along and gives some credibility to putting that out there.
Wow.
And letting that work.
Proves the theory.
For that particular time and moment, it did. Now, with what happens tomorrow, we got to take a look at that. Also, like to in the spread, stagger a long flat line, short flat line, long and short outriggers. My theory on that is fish cannot see in front. All he has is side vision, peripheral. So coming into the spread, he hears the noise of the teasers and that comes into the spread and starts looking side to side. You can see that bill, if it's a billfish, in the water going back and forth, looking for the bait. So if the baits are side by side, then looks to one side, looks to the other, it's gone. Staggered, he sees one, looks to the other, he sees another one. It also helps as far as when you're making turns that you're not necessarily going to go ahead and play straight, but not going to go ahead and angle.
Yeah, because I had issues like that before. You brought something up that brought up a memory from many, many years ago. A friend of mine, he used to do this hero or zero thing. He would go out for something specific, and if we didn't get that, we didn't fish for anything else. That's all we fished for. And this one particular time that we were out fishing, we were fishing for sailfish, and we were on a commercial boat. I can't remember the captain's name, but it was out of Bud Mary's, out of the Keys. And one of the first things that caught my attention was he threw this teaser, I think is what they called it. It didn't have a hook on it. It just wobbled in the water, and it was really close to the boat. And I thought to myself, that's kind of weird. I thought that the fish would hear the motor or the prop or something and kind of veer away from it. And he was only maybe 20 feet behind the boat. I don't even think that far. 10 feet, 15 feet behind the boat,
right,
with this thing. And
they're normally pretty close up.
I was amazed at during the day they had a couple of fish that would come up and play with this thing. I always thought that the motor, the engine of the motor, the prop, the noise the props make would chase the fish away. But clearly, that's not the case. And you just brought that to mind when you were talking about putting that thing in the boat.
Now, Scout, you mentioned about the noise. You will find some boats will raise fish more so than others. You can have almost the same hull. Maybe you got a different set of engines set up and so on. But we know that fish are attracted by sound, by frequency.
Yeah.
All right. In my other life, I used to keep a very, very detailed log on our activities for the day. And we found is at that time I had a inboard out, single engine. I found out that between 920 RPMs and 1150, that's where our hookup range was. Above or below, it fell off dramatically. It was almost like it fell off a cliff.
Wow.
Now, studies have been done also that, well, okay, let me stay with that for a minute. We know that fish pick up on vibrations, like a dog hears a whistle that a human doesn't.
Correct. Yeah.
So when you take in consideration the engine, the harmonics, vibrations set up through the boat, water conditions, all the sound that's generated by that boat, you actually have an attractor. And depending where the frequency, the harmonics lay, will go ahead and bring fish to the boat.
Like building an orchestra.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Wow.
They did. Study I saw was in, I think it was Marlin magazine about a good 20 years ago, when it was first starting to develop a study regarding sound and we know sharks will come to sound. We know kings have that line, that jagged line that comes down the side. That's a sensor for sound. So that each boat will go ahead and have a set of harmonics. Some will attract fish more than others. Now I've also seen them where they've taken the props, highly polished stainless, and then put a strobe light angled off of the prop, so that as it moves through
now that's clever.
The prop moves.
That's clever.
It creates a flash.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That is clever. Wow.
Now, well, my lord, that's one of the things that when I designed the JCAMMs all have flash in them, be it Mylar or double skirts, which are all silver holographic underneath. Was to develop flash. And if you look at it, the bait ball going through our bait, as it's moving, you will see the sun or light reflect off the side.
Yep. Yep, I agree.
And they tell you don't wear jewelry in the water.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to attract something you may not want to see. But to me,
barracudas are extremely attracted to flashes in the water. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When learning how to snorkel or dive scuba, the chrome ring that holds the mask in place, to find one that did not have that flash, because it could be an attractor.
Serious problems. Serious problems.
It has potential. Yes, it could ruin the day. But,
easily. So I want to ask you, I know that you hand make lures. I know that the parts that you make the lures from are made here. All the parts come from the United States, right? Am I correct about that?
Sir.
And we were talking about a lure a couple of shows, maybe 3 shows ago. You were considering a slow lure. I want to call it slow because I think you had kayaks in mind. Have you developed that? Has it come further along now?
We have. Pam has put a couple of different models in the water, and we are very pleased with the result. If you think about what the sailfish people put in the water, this is the first one. There's 2 sizes now, depending on, one has a 12-inch diameter and is about top to bottom, maybe 1.5 feet or so. When Pam trolled that, when there was a healthy current in the 2.5, 3 knot area, it performed exceptionally well. But when it didn't have the current to carry it, it then sagged off and obviously totally ineffective. So what we did, decided that we needed something smaller. So went ahead, and now it is 6 inches in diameter and top to bottom 12 inches. Much smaller, much lighter. We've yet to have that go into the water, but we think the results of that could be pretty decent.
Cool.
Now, couple that, Pam's idea is to couple that with live bait in and around it.
Mm-hmm.
Should make a pretty nice presentation.
Wow.
Without having to handle a whole bunch of mechanical things. Yeah.
That's like, like holding up a sign. Here I am.
Now, you see what the guys in the shop have. My little alcove where I work, I have no radio, no TV. It's just the sound of the air conditioner and the bell on the door when the customer comes in. So they tell me that, Pete, you need to get a life, all right? These things because I'll walk over and say, what do you think about this? And so on, and they'll shake their heads, especially to see me walking across the parking lot with a lure or something in my hands. They know I'm coming to get them fresh. 95% of this stuff just goes in the flea market box because it's not going to be used.
Wow.
But yeah, been trying to work with Pam, see if we can come up with something that the kayakers could use.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wanted to hear the update on that. I'm all out of time. We're up against a break, but before we go, I want to give you a couple of seconds here. If people want to get more information about what you do, Pete, how do they do that?
They can go. We have the website is being redone. So right now, go email JCAMMfishing@AOL.com or come to me direct at 561-502-7022.
And do you have a Facebook page? They can find you on Facebook?
Yes, JCAMMfishing.com.
Excellent, my friend. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you so much for stepping up. I had a last-minute cancellation. Dave Sively down in the Keys, he got a last-minute charter, and so I called my buddy Peter. Actually, I texted my buddy Peter, and he stepped right up to the plate. Thank you, my friend. God bless you.
Anytime. Captain, take care now. Have a good one.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, we'll be right back.
Is an adventure full of special moments.
A cruise?
Surprise! Unexpected moments.
I got this.
And even awkward moments.
Okay, Dad, thank you.
But every moment you spend with your kids, even the smallest moments, can make the biggest impact on your child's life. So take a moment to be a dad today.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I wasn't sure if I could do it. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but the teachers, the counselors, they help you. One of the teachers was Miss Araceli. Miss Araceli, she gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll come over and she'll sit there with you until you get it. Thank you, Miss Araceli. I know you make a difference in people's lives because of the person and teacher you are. I wanted to be here because I wanted to thank you for helping me get a beautiful gift. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work. Getting your high school diploma, it is a life-changing experience. It really is.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Have you ever heard of Audible? Audible is a website with hundreds of thousands of audiobooks. They're all high quality, easy to listen to, and, best of all, if you take advantage of a special deal that we've worked out for you, you can get one for free. That's right, a free audiobook of your choice in any genre, simply by going to audibletrial.com/openeyes and signing up for the free trial. It's simple to do, and it would support the shows that we bring to you, and hey, you get a free book out of the whole thing. So why not take advantage of it today? Go to audibletrial.com/openeyes and sign up for the trial.
Ask 10 different scientists about the environment, population control, genetics, and you'll get 10 different answers. But there's one thing every scientist on the planet agrees on. Whether it happens in 100 years, or 1,000 years, or 1,000,000 years, eventually our sun will grow cold and go out. When that happens, it won't just take us. It'll take Marilyn Monroe, and Lao Tzu, and Einstein, and Morobuto, and Buddy Holly, and Aristophanes. All of this was for nothing. Unless we go to the stars.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun. Oh, I grabbed my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, we are back. It is the Fish Florida Show. We are coming to you from Palm Beach County on the east coast of Florida. Normally I have Pam Worth. She's one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida. She's on the west coast. This morning she's traveling, so in her place I have Robert Warner. He is with the Florida Fisherman magazine. He happens to be on the East Coast as well with me, and so we don't have anybody on the West Coast reporting in, but according to the radar that I'm looking at, there's a little bit of activity picking up. It is headed in a northeasterly fashion, and so some of it is already over the West Coast. Looks like the Fort Myers area is getting pounded with some heavy rain. Fortunately, because it is in a northeasterly pattern, it's flowing away from us right now. So right now, looks to be pretty clear. There are no major warnings at the beaches today. Seas are going to be about 2 feet, possibly less, so it's going to be a great day to be out there and do some boating if you want to do some boating, do some fishing. So it's what we do here in Florida. We're surrounded by water on three sides, and if you don't like water, I don't think you're in the right place. Anyway, welcome back.
Yeah, if you can't swim, this is a bad place to be. So.
I have Robert with me. He's with the Florida Fisherman magazine. He's been generous enough to step up to the plate and fill in for Pam while she's traveling this morning. And along with Robert, I have Betty Bauman. Betty is with... I really enjoy this. Ladies, let's go fishing. She teaches from A to Z, and literally A to Z about fishing. Good morning, Miss Betty. How are you, my dear?
Good morning. I'm getting my speech about women and fishing ready for the ICAST show in Orlando this week.
Oh, bless your heart. That's great.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about, data on women, and, like 40% of the new anglers are female. Why aren't there more in the market? And that's why we do Ladies Let's Go Fishing, to increase those numbers. We're doing a press conference.
Well, for me, the bottom line is it's a way for another option for families to come together. If you're if you happen to be a married couple and you have a wife, or you have a wife that likes fishing and a husband that doesn't, or if you have a husband that likes fishing and a wife that doesn't, it's going to be tough. And for me, I was fortunate. My mom loved fishing growing up, so it was a way for us. It's always been a memory for me in my life, a way for us to continue the bonds of family relationships. And I'm sure that the people come out and do it that work with you, they build relationships with other people. So it's a way of not only is it just about fishing, I mean, it expounds more into life and stuff like that, you know. And this is what I like about what you do. And you teach them from A to Z, from how to tie the knot to how to cook the fish, right? Am I right?
That's right. That's right. We just had a Learn on the Water little tournament in June, and the ladies caught 170 fish, about 30 ladies. They released 49 mahi. Of the 170, you know, about well over 100 were mahi. And but there weren't any big ones. This was in the Keys. They couldn't get the big one. One of the ladies lost a 40-pounder at the gaff. The big mahi are just starting to come towards Islamorada. They're down in, from what I understand, in Key West and Pine Island area.
Wow. Well, you know, I said this expounds on life. Imagine the excitement of having a big fish on like that, getting it all the way up to the boat, and then losing it the last second. There are parallels in life where you get excited about something, and you just know it's going to happen, and then you're, you know, at the last moment, the unthinkable happens, and it doesn't happen. So it helps us. To me, it's a an example of what happens in life. So it's not just fishing. Like I said, it expounds. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, that scenario happens, unfortunately, too frequently in fishing. But it is a good lesson in life.
Yeah. It helps
you. Yeah, you don't always get what you want, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And to expand on what you were saying about the number of women fishing, the statistics from the Miami Boat Show is that 45% of the new anglers are women and 42% are children under the age of 12, which is all just great news.
Yes. So. Wow. That I actually got a tingle from that, Robert. That's a great feeling that we're just slowly getting away from some of this. And I love technology. Please don't misunderstand me. My bread and butter comes from technology, but we're just saturated with technology. To be able to step away from it and enjoy what God has given us, right? You know, we've got the ocean on three sides of us here. And if you're not happy with saltwater, my gosh, there's literally thousands of lakes and canals that you can go to and enjoy fishing there. Again, if you don't like water, you're not in the right place. So Betty, what's the latest going on right now? I know you recently had something happen, right?
Yeah, but no, we had the Keys event in June, and we gave away about $2,000 worth of tackle and accessories. You know, it's great to get their. You know, they didn't have to do much for it. Actually, everybody won something. You know, because it's you know, we did the awards per angler, so I pretty much give something to everybody, so everybody feels like they're a winner, whether they caught the big fish or not. Mm-hmm. The whole thing is to have fun fishing together and not feel like you're competing on the boat. And I'm also working on Tampa Boat Show. I have a seminar there, September 7th and 8th, and the 7th is the seminar at the show with a free early bird cruise and a networking happy hour and a hands-on practice. I have pretty much an all-gal staff. Pam Worth will be there, Lisa Fitzgerald, Alice Troutman, Lori Deaton, and some more. And then their last day is fishing. And then after that, the grand finale of the year is October 18th to 20th, where we have another Keys event in Islamorada. And this one is 1 day fishing, bonus day fishing Friday, so they can fish 2 days inshore or offshore. And that's the full day classes with really good instructors. Like we'll have Stu Apt, Jeannie Town's great, you know, for her diagrams on how to troll and, you know, how far to put the lines back and why you do it like that.
Wow.
That's a lot of things they don't hear about is why do you do it the way you do it.
Mm-hmm. Peter from JCAMM Lures, I don't know if you know him. He was on just before.
Oh yeah, he's been one of our instructors.
Well, he was actually. It's it is. I should say it. I shouldn't be surprised, but it is surprising. He was talking exactly about, and I know you weren't hearing what he was talking about. He was talking exactly about what you were just saying. Why you put some on your when you put them on the outriggers, while you stagger them, while you have a teaser near the boat. He was actually talking about what you were just discussing, and it was an educational short bit of 10 minutes or whatever it was. Very educational for me, because there was things came together, and my memory was sprung about things that I saw years ago and why they did what they did.
Well, he did a very documented scientific theory on exactly why the spread is staggered the way it's done, with tracking it and the results of tracking it, and he's put a lot of work into that.
So
he's fantastic, because the ladies ask a lot of why. They're like, if you need a leader, why don't you just reel that all on the whole reel instead of tying a knot?
Yeah.
And it's a good question.
Yep, and I'm grateful for questions like that, because that's how the more that you learn, the easier it becomes to develop the skill that is required. And it's not really a hard skill to learn, and it's fun. It's relaxing. It's a wide variety of things. Again, it parallels life in many aspects. Having caught a nice fish like that, getting it all the way to the boat, and then losing it at the gaff. That's really a disappointment. And you have disappointments in life, and it teaches you how to better deal with disappointments in life. So you say, okay, well, lost him. You stick on some bait, and you go out and go get another one.
Yep,
that's
time
right.
to start over. Yeah.
Try again.
So let's see. If people want to get more information about what you're doing, Betty, how do they do that?
It's all on the website at www.ladiesletsgofishing.com. Our phone number is there. We do answer the phone. We work year-round on this.
And I'm grateful that
It's a great organization.
That you do that, because, again, in my life, my mom was kind of the center point. We go fishing. A lot of times my dad would say, we're going to go fishing. Where do you want to go? He would give her the option where she wanted to go. One of her favorite places was Naples. I don't know if it's still there, but they had a pier there, a beautiful pier. And we'd go fishing at Naples. I remember going out 10 o'clock at night. This is open back then. I don't know if it is now. Back then it was open 24 hours. I go out at 10 o'clock at night and go fishing for 2 or 3 hours and come back and go to sleep, get up first thing in the morning, go do it again. And a lot of it was surrounding around my mom. She was like the focal point. Because you can imagine a couple, and one wants to go fishing, and the other one, I don't want to go. This smells, it stinks. I don't want to get anywhere near it. You're not going to get along very well for very long. You got to have some compromise in there. So when you have someone who, does that and enjoys that, all the difference in the world. And for me, it's about family. And what you're doing is providing another option for family to keep itself together.
That's right. And they do continue fishing, and we have social events where they network. The whole thing about what we're doing is you learn, practice, and you do.
There you go. And with patience and with people, I don't know about the other ladies that you have, but I know Pam. I've worked with Pam, an extremely patient person. She's I couldn't find a better teacher, if you will. And the evidence is, right there. If you see some of the things that she's worked with young people, showing them the skills of what she has, sharing her skills with others. So when you have that kind of person involved, it just tells me that you're out there to really help people. And I appreciate that, because inevitably it helps everybody. And I'm part of it. I like that. I'm part of everybody. So it helps me too.
Well, we're lucky to have a lot of fishing guides that are willing to come and share their time on their prime charter day to help these ladies. And also, we have sponsors and supporters, because without them, the effort would just be too expensive. Yeah. So they help defray the cost of the participants. And we get ladies from all walks of life.
Well, that's great. Betty, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you sharing with us this morning. Again, the name of the organization is Ladies Let's Go Fishing. You can find them online. Betty Bauman is who you want to talk to. And I'll be looking forward to having you back on here probably in about a month or so, giving us an update about what's going on. Greatly appreciate it, my dear, and I wish you a wonderful day.
Be glad to come back and carry on tight lines.
Thank you. Robert, any parting words?
No, other than that's a great organization. One of their members comes by our insurance office all the time. She's one of our insureds. It's a great organization. So
God bless. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. I wish I were fishing.
Me too.
With your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
From the author of Silent Steps and Haunted, Finding an Explanation for the Unknown, comes a story so chilling it will haunt you for years to come. Krista is a young woman escaping her past, running away from her family, her traumas, and her God, hoping to find a new life in a different town. But when she is forced to make a horrible choice, she comes to realize malevolent entities have controlled the true darkness she has been a part of. That is when her real terror begins. Penitence is disturbing and evocative. It will tear down the walls between what is real and what is nightmare. Penitence is the new novel by the man called the new master of speculative fiction, Ira Robinson. Find it and all of his books at his website, originalworlds.com.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high-quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer, and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care? They're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge. Flea and tick dips also available. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today. 561-793-9992. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, where your pet gets celebrity treatment.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy.
What do you call a pig that knows karate?
Pork chop.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off at school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I grabbed my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida where the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah, fishing in
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, we are back. It is the Fish Florida Show. If you missed any part of the earlier part of the show, you can always catch the archives. You can find the archives at fishfloridashow.com, www.fishfloridashow.com. Archives are there. You can also listen to the show live there. Several different ways. We try to make it as easy as possible to listen to the show. The easiest way of all of them, of course, is our app. We have an absolutely free app that you can download. It's not one of those things where it's free to download and then you find out after you download it it's going to cost you money to use. That drives me up the wall. This is free, absolutely free. There's no catches to it. So not only can you listen to the show on the app, there's a wide variety of tools that are included with the app as well. That's the easiest way to listen to the show. Next easiest way would be to probably go to Facebook. We have a Facebook page there, Fish Florida Show. Click on Contact Us, and you'll connect directly to our live streaming server. Or you can go to our webpage, of course, so www.fishfloridashow.com. Click on Listen Live, and you'll be right on the server as well. And if none of those work for you, for whatever reason, you may have limited data or limited availability to the internet where you're at, you can actually call in 701-719-9704. That's calling to listen. You won't be able to get into the board and get on the air, but you'll be able to listen. So if you've got unlimited calling, that's another way. Again, we make it as easy as possible. Family-oriented show that we reach out, and my intention is to share with other people just the average kind of guy who fishes, you know, and we bring professionals on so they can share some of their, quote, secrets with us. You know, this morning I learned quite a bit from Peter. So I'm always learning. It's one of the things I enjoy about the show. Anyway, we are back. I have Robert Warner. He is with the Florida Fisherman magazine. He's kind of stepping up in Pam's place for me this morning. I appreciate that. Welcome back, Robert. Well, he'll say something here in a minute. He's talking to somebody. And I have, I hope I'm saying this right.
I am back.
See what I tell you. I hope I have, I say the name correctly. Janos. Is it Janos? Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Janos. How are you, my friend?
I'm all right, thanks.
I got your name from my co-host, Pam Worth. She tells me that you're a kayak fisher. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Or angler may be a better way to describe it. And that you caught a relatively big dolphin not too long, a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago on Pompano Beach, yes.
And how big was it?
34 pounds.
Okay, so here you are in this kayak. I'm trying to imagine this. How big is your kayak?
It's a 12-foot Hobie Aide kayak.
Okay, somebody's got. If you've got your phone on speaker, you got to turn the volume down a little bit because I'm getting an echo. How long is your kayak?
The kayak is 12 foot long.
Say it again.
12 foot long.
Okay, and so how big was the fish?
The fish was 48 inches to the fork. So I had a couple of guys help me out because it was so big for my kayak, and my fish bag is only 6 inches long.
Where did you put him?
My friend has a bigger kayak, so his kayak has a motor on it, and he put it on his kayak.
Okay, I'm trying to imagine where in the world did he put this thing. It had to be considerably, a third, at least a third of the length of the kayak. And we have you in the kayak. We have the fishing equipment in the kayak. Where are you going to put this big monster? So I wanted to hear a little bit about it. First of all, what were you using for bait?
I was using a light goggle eye. I was fishing for kingfish or anything I can catch, and I was at 260 feet of water, pulling a live goggle eye when this fish hit, and it was a beautiful sight to see when it jumps out of the water 3-4 times and you start screaming mahi mahi, and I called the guys on the radio to come because sometimes they're swimming by schools, but there was only one dolphin. So when the guys came by, they couldn't believe how big a fish was. So when the fish came out of my kayak, the color changed from blue to green. It was beautiful. And I was sitting in the kayak holding my rods up, and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do with this fish? I'm going to put in my kayak.
You're literally at the level of the water in a kayak. It's not like when you're in a boat. You're up above the water somewhat. In a kayak, you're literally right there. So I can imagine this thing coming up and you having him right there alongside of you. Now, how did you end up finally finishing him off? Did you gaff him or did you grab him? What happened?
What happened was I was holding my rod because the fish was doing circles on my kayak. So one of my friends, it was three of us fishing together. One of my friends was holding an extendable gaff. So he gaffed it first, and the third guy came and he killed it with a spear gaff. So that's how we put it in the kayak. But when I put it in the kayak, I was holding it. I was like, what am I going to do with this fish? Where am I going to put it? If I put it in my fish bag, which was impossible, how am I going to go back to shore? Because I use my legs to pedal. So if I would have put the fish on top of my fish bag or inside my fish bag, which was no way happening, I couldn't pedal my kayak. So my friend said he had a motor on the kayak, so let's put in the fish on his kayak so he can take the fish back to shore.
So
That's a lot of fish on a kayak.
It was unbelievable. It was such an exciting. Actually, it was the first time using a conventional reel on my kayak because I use spinning reels. So when the fish hit first, I started turning the handle, nothing happening. The line wasn't coming back to me, and I was like, "What's going on with this reel?" Because I never used a conventional reel really. So I was kind of scared, but I was pushing a couple of things on the reel, so the line coming back to me. It was very exciting, very exciting.
So it was a group effort then. It was other people involved as well.
It had to be, in a boat is different. A boat is standing up using a longer gap. In a boat is so different. Basically, in a kayak, unless you try to fish in a kayak in the ocean, you don't know what you're talking about. So it's that's what I love. I went to Chakalaska yesterday. I spent the whole day in Chakalaska yesterday in a kayak, and I love kayak fishing. I absolutely love it.
Do you have? I hope you have pictures of what all this was.
Yes, I have. Yes.
Oh, can you share those pictures on Facebook? Do you have? Do you go on Facebook?
Sure.
You go to the Fish Florida show, and you can post the pictures. I'd be curious to see the size of this thing in relation to the size of the little boat that you're on. In between that, how rough was the water that particular day?
How deep I was? How was the water?
Yeah. How rough was the water?
Water was pretty calm actually that day, and I was at 260 feet of water. I don't know how far from the shore it was. You can't really tell.
Mm-hmm.
A mile and a half, you can't tell. But the water depth was 267 feet, and you're just cruising. It's just a different world. You're in a kayak, you're by yourself. You're your own captain. You go wherever you want, do whatever you want, and I really enjoy. That's what I enjoy.
To me, it's kind of like a feeling of independence because most of the kayak, if I'm not mistaken, I know Pam has one of them. A kayak can be literally carried by one person, and so you're not limited to having somewhere specific to put your boat in, like a ramp or something like that, and the ability to just go whenever you want to go because you're not relying upon most kayaks that I've dealt with anyway. They don't have motorized on the back of them. They're human powered. They're pedal powered, and that to me is a way. It's like an independence. You're relying upon yourself. You're independent. You can take your fishing vehicle out to wherever you need to go, whether it's a canal, whether it's the ocean, within reason, whether it's the ocean, the canal, the bay. You're not relying on a boat ramp to be able to get in. You're not relying on a motor to get you to where you're going. You're relying on yourself. So to me, it represents a deal of independence in there.
It is exactly, but it's not that easy. You just imagine you're going in a kayak where the ocean, you have to watch the elements, you have to watch the boats, you have your fishing gear in a kayak. I take 5 fishing rods with me. I have a fish bag, my full of ice, my drinks, my food, my fishing tackle, my live well, my DFD on me, my radio. So it's not that easy as people think. And some people go out in the ocean one time and never come back, and some people just go out and just hooked on fishing. And if I could afford, I could go fishing almost every day, but it's not that easy.
I know that feeling. Robert, if we could go fishing every day.
Yeah, that is a hell of a fish on a kayak.
Oh my gosh!
My family hates it because I have fishing gear all over my condo. I have fishing rods in the closet. I have reels in my doors or hiding stuff here and there. but that's my only hobby. That's all I do. Nothing else. I just love fishing.
Well, there was a time I was married, and I told people I didn't have time for an affair. My affair was fishing. My affair actually was my boat. You know, I would spend so much time with my boat that my wife got, at the time that I was married, she got upset with me. So I know exactly where you're coming from, and just couldn't get enough of it.
And also, you can go to places like Chakalaski, you know, where the water is so shallow, there's no boats. I fished yesterday. I had a couple of small redfish and a couple other fish, but there's no boats around us because the water is so shallow. There's no. You can connect to the water so much easier than a kayak for me. And you go in a kayak by yourself, and instead of going in a boat with 4 or 5 people, somebody gets seasick, or my wife called me, I'm bored, I'm hot, I'm gonna go home.
Yep.
And in a kayak, you do whatever you want.
That's that independence.
Yeah, there's places like that in the Indian River Lagoon where it's too shallow for regular boats. There's a lot of kayaks out there.
Exactly.
I bet that's pretty.
It's beautiful. I went yesterday. I woke up 4 o'clock in the morning. I came 7 p.m. and my family looks at me like I'm crazy, but that's all I do. I don't go anywhere else. I don't do anything else, but it's just fishing.
You know what? There was a time in my life when my entire life revolved around fishing. Again, I had a boat. Every opportunity I had, I was in my boat and going fishing, whether that was local. I was living in South Miami at the time, whether that was local or whether it was down in the Keys. One of my favorite things was to get up at about 4 o'clock in the morning, hook up this big monster, for me it was a big monster, 26-foot Wellcraft, and pull it down to Bud Mary's. Across the street from Bud Mary's was a place called Papa Joe's. I don't even think it's there anymore. And they had a boat ramp. We'd put in the boat ramp and head out to the lighthouse. The lighthouse would be my reference point. And from there, we would go due east until we would pass some of the shipping lanes, fishing for mahi-mahi at the time. And you have to be devoted. It takes a lot of work. It's a lot of fun, but like you said, it takes a lot of work. And when I look back, if I had my rathers, I think if I could have done it at the time, I probably would have done kayaking because it's more, again, I go back to the independence part. I had to rely on my truck. I had to rely on my boat. I had to rely on a motor. I had to make sure we had somewhere to put the boat in. All of that can go, most of that can go by the wayside. You're going to need some kind of vehicle to take it to wherever it's going. But when you get to where you're going, you're not relying upon a specific, like a boat ramp. You can I've seen people put them in on the beach. So I know that, just about anywhere. And they don't take anything to float. What does it take? Inches to float your 4 inches, 3 inches?
Yeah, a couple of inches of water. But the thing is, no, actually a little more because I use my legs to pedal. So I have a mirage drag in my kayak.
Oh, yeah, so they stick down. So they hang out a little bit more.
Yeah, it's like 6 inches on my kayak. But just imagine going out in the water, and the weather changes pretty fast here in summertime. The storm's coming from north or south, any kind of direction. The boat's going so fast, so close to the kayaks, they don't even see us sometimes because sometimes they don't care. Imagine the current.
Wow.
So you have to watch everything when you're going out. You have to watch everything constantly. You just can't sit in a kayak and dreaming about catching a fish. You have to watch everything around you. You have to be so cautious about what's going on in the water.
Wow.
I would think so, yeah.
I didn't take that into consideration. So some of the boaters, they're like inconsiderate. They're not looking out for you. I guess they're not looking out for you, but you're not easily seen out. What color is your kayak?
My kayak is a yellow kayak, Sometimes they see us. Mm-hmm. They see us sometimes, and sometimes they see us fighting a fish, and the eyes are just open. Like, look at this guy. Yeah. Look at this guy sitting in the kayak and catching a fish, and I don't catch.
Yeah. So they come over to try to catch. They're jealous.
Yes, my friends hate me. After I cut the mahi, some of my friends hate me. They change the face, so they Photoshop my face to their faces on the pictures.
Uh-huh.
So some of them are very happy for me. We have a kayak fishing club. It's called the South Florida Kayak Fishing Club with almost 4,000 members.
Wow.
And this is a record. This is a record mahi. The 34-pound mahi I caught is a record mahi.
Wow. What's the name of What's the name of the club? The kayak club?
South Florida Kayak Fishing Club.
South Florida Kayak Fishing Club. Wow.
Yes, sir.
All right, my friend, I'm up against a break. I truly appreciate you taking the time to call in. I thought it was amazing to hear about your
Great
experience.
Information.
Yeah, I thought it was him. And if you can, did you document any of it along with the pictures? Did you write a story about how you caught it and anything like that?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Are you familiar with Robert? Do you know who Robert is, my co-host this morning?
No, sir.
Okay. I will get you some information. Contact Robert, and maybe he will publish your story about...
I'd love to.
Yeah. Publish your story about the catch.
I certainly will. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, my friend. Well, thank you for calling in, and I'll get Robert your contact info. He'll get a hold of you and explain to you, if you want to do it, how to do it.
Thank you, gentlemen. You have a great day.
All right. Thank you, Janos.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, my friends. Don't go far because we're not going far. It'll be just a moment, and before you know it, we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
From the author of Silent Steps and Haunted, Finding an Explanation for the Unknown, comes a story so chilling it will haunt you for years to come. Krista is a young woman escaping her past, running away from her family, her traumas, and her God, hoping to find a new life in a different town. But when she is forced to make a horrible choice, she comes to realize malevolent entities have controlled the true darkness she has been a part of. That is when her real terror begins. Penitence is disturbing and evocative. It will tear down the walls between what is real and what is nightmare. Penitence is the new novel by the man called the new master of speculative fiction, Ira Robinson. Find it and all of his books at his website, originalworlds.com.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high-quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer, and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care? They're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge. Flea and tick dips also available. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today. 561-793-9992. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care, where your pet gets celebrity treatment.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy.
What do you call a pig that knows karate?
Pork chop.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, we are back. It is the Fish Florida Show. I am your host this morning with Robert Warner. Robert is with the Florida Fisherman magazine. He's been kind enough to step up as Pam, who is usually on with me, is in transit this morning. I believe she's returning from visiting with her family out in Texas, I think. So anyway, welcome back, Robert. We are back on the air. Go ahead.
Well, good morning. We are actually, I am with my wife. We are on our way to Jonathan Dickinson State Park.
Oh.
There is a group called Club Scrub, whose president is Dorsey Tennant, and they have built mountain bike trails out here that are phenomenal.
Wow.
There's a place you can launch your kayak. There's fishing areas. There's biking areas. There's hiking areas. So if you just need to go get outside, it's a great place to go. Take off for Jonathan Dickinson State Park. It's a beautiful day. So.
I remember Jonathan Dickinson as one of the places my dad took us. I remember, I don't know why, but it felt like it took forever to get to Jonathan Dickinson. And here were times that he took us over to Naples across the state. But my gosh, I maybe it was the excitement because I so enjoyed. There were so many things as for a kid to do there. It was just amazing, and it's really a wonderful park. It really is a really nice park. They've gone out of the way to see to it that all the amenities are there. Just about anything you can imagine is with regard to outdoor activity. You mentioned kayaks. I didn't know about the mountain bike thing.
Kayaks, fishing, biking, hiking, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I did. I wasn't aware of that.
The park has it all.
Wow. Well, I think I have Captain Neil on. Let's see if I can get him on because he's popping on and off. I don't know if he's having a problem. Captain Neil, are you there?
Good morning, Riscala. I'm here.
Oh, good morning. You're popping up like on two different. Is someone else calling in as well?
No, I don't believe so.
We're just having a technical glitch. Okay, let me get rid of that then. Okay. Well, good morning, sir, and thank you for taking the time to call in, my friend.
My pleasure. Great to talk to you. Thanks for having me back.
I so like what you do because you, along with Liza's one of my favorite people.
Fitzgerald, of course, right?
Yes. Putting back. We're putting back. We're giving back to that which God has given us the responsibility of taking care of, and you are one of those that does that. And that's why I wanted to have you back on and kind of give us an update. What's the latest that's going on? And I think they call it. Is it the Ghost Trap Rodeo? Is that what it's called?
That's exactly right, Riscala. Yep, it's a Ghost Trap Rodeo, and I want to make sure and mention that our project has been propelled forward by a lot of volunteers. At this point, we've had over 300 volunteers come out and provide the equivalent of 1,500 hours of service toward the community and the watershed here.
Wow!
So I'm not alone. We've got a big team.
Yeah, go
ahead.
I didn't realize that you had that many people working on it. My gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, over the course of this year of public events, volunteer opportunities and such, we've averaged about 50 volunteers at each event, and we've had 6 events so far. So, yeah, it adds up over time,
My goodness.
And so basically our project, as you said, it's called the Ghost Trap Rodeo, and the Ghost Trap Rodeo is like your favorite flats fishing tournament, but instead of weighing in redfish and sea trout, we're collecting derelict and abandoned crab traps and other forms of marine debris, and then bringing that back in and weighing it and doing a point system with a leaderboard and such. for a friendly competition for $25,000 in industry-sponsored fishing tackle prizes.
Sweet.
Yeah, and so at this point in our project period, we've collected 19,000 pounds of debris, including 184 derelict and abandoned crab traps. And we have another event coming up next weekend on Saturday, July 13th.
Okay, so
you
let's
do these all over the state, or where do you do these?
We're hoping to expand here in the not too distant future, but so far we've been focusing on Tampa Bay, and we've been doing it at a different site around Tampa Bay each month. So
that's great stuff.
Working our way around the perimeter. Yeah, it's been really fantastic and well received. I think one thing that we've had to do is try to thread the needle and manage the relationship between the commercial fishing community and the recreational fishing community and folks that are non-anglers that want to participate, and make sure that everybody's receiving good information and understands that we're out there with our hearts in the right place, and we have a sensitivity for the guys that make a living on the water and have no intention of pulling their traps. We're specifically looking for derelict and abandoned traps, which are no longer fishing. So this is not your commercial crabber traps being messed with or molested in any way. So
that's great stuff what you're doing. It really is.
Yes. Thanks.
I come from one of the things I've done in my life was I ran a plastics plant. Plastics are a pretty cool product because you can recycle them over and over and over again. But one of the downside of plastic is it doesn't break down very easily, and so they're finding new and better ways to recycle the plastic. So the reason I bring that up is you found about 184 traps that I think this is very important for people to know. The traps didn't get picked up and then put in the trash. What happened to the traps, Captain Neil?
That's a great point. Yeah, so early on in our project, Florida's Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, FWC, reached out to us and said, hey, we've got an interesting opportunity we'd like to include you on. We want to use your blue crab trap materials, the wire mesh, as sort of a base layer for new oyster reef pilot projects that we're doing around the state. And so FWC takes all of our trap materials, and thus far we've been working on 2 new living shoreline projects with those materials up in the St. Mary's River area.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think those of them that can be reconstituted or refurbished or whatever you want to call it, they're reused again. Those that can be. Is that right?
Well, no, we don't have any kind of mechanism through our project to get those traps back out in the fishery or to resell them or anything like that.
Okay.
We may look at that kind of stuff at some point, but at this point, all of our trap materials are either going to the energy recyclers.
I'll drive back.
Or to make these oyster reef pilot projects with FWC.
And we desperately need that right now, particularly on the West Coast due to the red tides that they've been experiencing over there. I did a little bit of reading, and it seems to be that the shellfish, particularly oysters, clams, and things of that nature, will actually help relieve the issue that's going on with the red tide. So this is all in an effort to benefit everybody. And just remember, I'm part of everybody and you're part of everybody. So help support programs like this. I love helping promote programs like this because I know that inevitably it's better for everybody. Everybody wins. How can you not support something like that? And I like the idea that they're not just picked up and thrown into the landfills. They're reused. They're repurposed. And that to me is very important because that's part of what our resources are, and to be able to be responsible with what we have and be able to reuse it over and over and over. Again, I go back to the plastic. Plastic's great, but it's horrible if it comes into contact with the ocean, and there's so much plastic in our ocean today. We've got to find a better way to deal with it. So when we find people who are helping clean up our environment, in whatever way that is, everybody benefits from that. We have better fisheries. We have better time going outdoors. It's a cleaner environment. You can't ask for more. My gosh, I don't know what else you could ask for, really.
And I think it's important that the anglers get involved with these kinds of projects. It's a bygone era, I think, when the conservation group is seen as folks in big floppy hats and Teva sandals with socks up to their knees. I mean, those days are gone. We're out there. We're in our Costa sunglasses and our PFG performance fishing gear, and all of that stuff with our Yeti coolers and our Hughes flats boats and Mavericks and whatever. I mean, these are the same guys that are out there push poling the flats for redfish on the fly rod or throwing past crabs at tarpon on the beach. I mean, these are anglers out there trying to do something positive for the watershed and to improve the fishery. And
I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I would love to have your story in the magazine. So
it'd be a pleasure. I'd love to share it with you because like I said, the volunteerism and the sort of civic responsibility that's shown through this project has been really remarkable, and it's very motivational. I think it's the kind of thing that would inspire a lot of people to get involved.
It inspires me. Yeah, very inspirational.
Yeah. I want to mention to you guys that we have a very unique opportunity coming up here in the next few days, which is, I'm not sure if you've heard of it before. You probably have. The FWC closes trap fishing for a 10-day period at interval around the zones of Florida, let's say. And in the southwest zone of Florida, of which Tampa Bay is part, the trap closure is coming to our area July 10th through the 19th. And it only occurs here every other year. So we're going to have it this year, 2019, and then the next time that will come to our area is 2021. And basically during this 10-day period, all crab traps are required to be removed from the water by their anglers, and any traps which are left in the water are deemed to be abandoned and can be removed by community groups that are permitted by FWC, like we are.
Cool.
So I want to make this sort of PSA through your show to let anybody who's got traps out in the southwest zone. I want to let them
get them out.
Pull your traps. Yeah, pull your traps, because if they're still in the water between July 10th and 19th, they're subject to removal. And this is nothing against crabbers or anything like that. This is just something that occurs every other year for just a short 10-day period when blue crab traps and, of course, stone crab traps, because the season's out. But all the traps need to be out of the water to give groups like ours a chance to go in and clean things up and get traps which are abandoned out of the fishery.
Cool. I also like
you can learn more about that. Yeah, you can learn more about that at our Facebook page, which is simply OceanAid 360 in the search bar, and we come right up.
I like the idea that people get financially rewarded as well. So we're cleaning the environment where everybody benefits, and then somebody gets financially rewarded for doing, cleaning up the environment. That's what I like.
Good work.
I want to be clear to say nobody's getting cold hard cash for anything.
But it's just
a lot of companies have pitched in to give us fishing rods and Engel coolers, TFO rods, Shimano reels, all kinds of things like that. Costa sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really been a beautiful thing. Yeah.
It's great that people are willing to come together, sponsor this kind of thing. And again, everybody wins. How can you not promote something like this? Robert, I will get you the contact information for Captain Niels.
Yeah, get me his information. I would love to do that story in the magazine. I'll have Lindsay get in touch with him.
Yeah. And,
thanks, Robert. Yeah.
And we'll put that up because these are the kind of things I like promoting. CCA of Florida is another one that the two organizations are closely related. I don't really understand how, but I know that they're close. They work with each other. Another one, that the only tournament I know of that has a trash and has a part of the tournament set aside for picking up trash. You might win literally cash for picking up trash. Again, everybody benefits.
Yeah.
It's a situation where everybody benefits. So I enjoy promoting.
I fish a lot down in the Keys, and I sure hope somebody takes up the cause down there, because those traps are ridiculous down there. They're everywhere. So
yeah. Well, I'll tell you this project, I want to make sure and say it out loud. This project is made possible through close partnerships with the Coastal Conservation Association of Florida and with Tampa Bay Watch. here in our area, and it's in the grant funding that buys the supplies like gloves and boat hooks and all of that kind of stuff, and tarps for every boat to protect your gel coat. That's all supplied to us through a small grant for 1 year period through NOAA's Marine Debris Program.
Wow.
So and they've asked us to start looking at the Keys as a potential follow-up site for this project. So hopefully I'll have some news to share.
Oh, great.
Good
Yeah, I'd like an update on that. When you find, you get an update on that, let me know, because I'd like to update the listeners on that. I know I kind of bugged you a couple of times about, come on over to Marshall. Come on over here. You know, we could use it over here.
Yeah.
Not so much around my county. I don't see it that badly around here, but when you get down south, it's like a parking lot in some places down there. You have to be very careful.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine that every single one of them is what I would refer to as a live trap. I think that some of them they're just there, but for lack of responsibility on whoever laid them there, just left them there. They're abandoned and could use the cleanup. So I know. Well, hopefully.
Well, and I want to tell you, a big part of this is educating the recreational side as well. You know, a lot of people that go out and set traps because they get excited about stone crab season or excited to go put some blue crab traps out. They think, hey, I'll try this. And then their life gets too busy and they never come back to the traps. Or they make the mistake right away of setting the trap in a navigational channel. It gets clipped by a boat propeller. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so those traps get lost. So a big part of our project is educating the public, recreational users about how to set traps properly and ensure that those traps will be there when they come back.
I like the aspect of you wanting the local anglers to get involved. It's like having skin in the game, if you will. I like that because it brings out the responsibility. It points out to people that, yes, it's a good time out there. Yes, it's a lot of fun, but there's a degree of responsibility that we have, and this brings it into the forefront, brings it out into the spotlight. I like that aspect of it. Anyway, I am completely out of time. Before I go, I want to give you an opportunity. If people want more information, Captain Neil, how do they reach you?
They can navigate to oceanaid360.org. That's the easiest way to find more information and sign up for our event on July 13th, which is going to be taking place at multiple sites simultaneously here around Tampa Bay.
Cool. Well, thank you, my friend. God bless you. Wish you a wonderful day. Any parting words there, Robert?
No, other than, like I said, I would love to do the story. That's great stuff, what you're doing. Anybody that's helping the environment like that has got my vote. So.
Yep, got mine as well.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Captain Neil. My friends, don't go away. It's going to be a short one, and we'll be right back.
Listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
What's up, Ricky Dillon here at the largest social media gathering in the world. So the internet is an amazing place, but sometimes it can be a not so great place with online bullying and trolling and stuff. Have you ever seen online bullying before?
Unfortunately, it's kind of common. Online, people can hide behind the internet. Those comment sections can be a little
harsh.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's a good word for it.
I've been called many homophobic names.
I felt embarrassed. I felt humiliated. It made me stop liking myself. What if I told you there is something that you can use anytime that you see bullying online that calls attention to it in a nice way? Like, hey, that's not nice.
I wish that was the thing.
It's this! So anytime that you see any kind of hate online, go into your phone, go into the symbol section, post this I, and it says that that's bullying. That's not nice. So would you post this if you saw someone bullying someone?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like a lot more mature way to handle the situation.
Find the emoji in your phone, send it to 5 of your friends, and let them know what it means to be a witness.
Go to eyewitnessbullying.org to learn more about the emoji.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick of Bowen Realty. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped, even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion: air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick of Bauman Realty. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478. Diane Whittick at Bauman Realty, located in Wellington at Wellington Trace East and Forest Hill Boulevard. 561-247-5478.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Clubb, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Clubb has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclub.com. That's www.susanclubb.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Clubb. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
I grabbed my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, we are back. It is the Fish Florida Show, an honor and a privilege to have you listen in. It's always a learning experience for me, and I hope that for some of you out there, you learn a little bit as well. It's for me, it's like a continuous, oh my gosh, how do I describe it? Something it's just like part of life itself. It's just constantly learning different aspects. I remember thinking how silly, in my ignorance, how silly kite fishing was. I found out how serious it can be and how it can literally exponentially change your odds of being out there and fishing. Again, it's always a learning experience for me. I've learned that some fish, technically you're not even supposed to take them out of the water if you catch them. I never knew that. I learned that other fish are susceptible to the way that you hold them once you catch them. If you hold them improperly, you can actually harm the fish. I never realized things like that. So again, it's always a learning experience for me, and I hope in a way that you enjoyed as well on the other side of the microphone. This morning I've got Robert Warner. Robert is with the Florida Fisherman magazine. He stepped up because my normal co-host, Pam, she is in transit this morning, so he decided to take my invitation and step up. I greatly appreciate that, Robert. Thank you, sir.
Always happy to be here. Always happy to talk with you guys.
Well, thank you.
We are at the park now, so I apologize for any truck noise or anything going by. So
that's all right. And I believe I have Mike Lendl on with me here. Mike, is that you that's on with us?
Yes, sir. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mike. How are you, my friend?
Good.
Now, I enjoy having Mike on because we hear about the West Coast and we hear about the East Coast, and, we know that there's salt water on both sides, but we have a little bit of different kind of water going on towards the center of the state, and Mike is kind of involved in that kind of thing. He has I think he still has the King of the Glades tournament. Does that still go on?
Yes, it's over for the season. It starts back up in January up at Clewiston. But right now, if you can beat the summertime heat and like going out and catching some fish, the Everglades is what we call on fire right now. The fish are really chomping out there right now.
What is happening out there? I would imagine it's a lot of bass.
Yeah, a lot of bass in the 4 to 9 pound range are being caught from mile marker 35 west on Alligator Alley. People are throwing big worms on the bridge corners and stuff. I was out a couple weeks ago. I was throwing the bruiser baits, 14.5-inch worm called the Big Nasty.
My gosh, that's a miniature snake.
I was using a 5/16 ounce flat out tungsten, which that's available at bassaddictiongear.com. But just any kind of, just working the bridge corners, any kind of current flow coming through pipes or spillways or anything, you throw these big worms out there, and they're getting absolutely destroyed out there. I'm talking numbers of fish as well.
Wow. What do you think is what do you attribute that to? What do you think's responsible for that?
Honestly, I'm a firm believer, and I'm not sure, Riscala, what time they spawn or whatnot, but between the snakes and the freshwater eels, I think these big worms, I mean, we throw snake-type worms up to 16 inches long. In the summertime, the hotter it gets, the more it seems that these fish want to eat the bigger baits, and I guess with the afternoon rains and everything, the current flow's got them staged up on all these bridge corners and stuff. But I mean, I had people go out there catch probably 50, 60 bass last weekend out on Alligator Alley.
When you say on fire, you're kidding. Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Good gravy.
Yeah, it's all across the Everglades too. I got a tournament coming up in a couple weeks over at the L29 Canal, which runs along the Tamiami Trail in Miami, and it was pretty much the same type of pattern. It seems like the hotter it gets, and the more they move the water around, it seems they just want the bigger baits. I mean, BJ's Bait and Tackle out in Plantation, they're fully loaded with these 14.5-inch worms, and
a foot and a half.
It's a fun bite. It's a fun bite. You throw it out there, you let it sink down, and you feel that thump on your line, and you don't know if it's a 2-pounder or a 9-pounder.
Wow. I mean, that's so. These, I take it, they're rubber, right? They're made out of some kind of what we call rubber, and so you're adding something to weigh it down, because otherwise it would float. Is that correct?
No, it doesn't float. Actually, some guys were actually swimming them through the lily pads on the side with no weight. They're a heavy salted bait, so they with the weighted, with the hook weight and the body weight of the worm, it slowly sinks down. But some people like swimming them through the pads with no weights, and they're still getting bit out there.
When you're out there fishing for these guys, describe to me what you cast it out there. It hits the water. How long do you wait before you begin to reel it back in?
The average depth in the canal out in the Everglades is anywhere from 7 to 15 feet. So I've never I do fish some deep holes out there, which are in the 20 to 30 foot range, but mostly I stay in 15 foot of water. So basically what I do is I just put my boat right in the middle of the canal coming through the bridges to where it tees off into the main canals, and what I do is I throw the worm out into the middle of the canal, the T canal, let it sink down, and I work it up that ledge that was created from the canal being dug out in front of the bridges. So as you can imagine, from point to point on each side of the bridges, because remember there's a south canal and a north canal, and these bridges cross, so you could cross over. There's ledges on both sides, the south side and north side. So I'm just working these big worms up the ledges, and some bridges have little rock piles by the corners and stuff, and you'll feel the rocks, and there's nothing like dragging a big worm through a rock pile and then feeling that big thump once it clears it from that big bass eating the worm off the rocks.
So you've cast it out there, you let it sink, you've brought it back, and on the way back in, are you bringing it in quickly? Are you bringing it in? Are you jerking it?
Slow as possible. And I'm giving it little shakes here and there just to send down some vibration to the worm. And I'll use worm rattle sometimes. They sell 2 millimeter glass worm rattles that I'll shove into the into the plastic of the worm, and it gives it a rattle, and I'll spray it with some
That's
salt.
interesting. So it's making a noise under, we talked earlier about how different frequencies they're attracted to sound. That's interesting.
Absolutely.
It's not only big worms. I mean, you could go out there right now and throw big crankbaits. Carolina rig is where you put the weight a little ways up from the bait, and like Bruiser Bait sells a bait called the Crazy Crawl. It's a crawdad looking bait. You could Carolina rig that up to ledges. Trick worms on shaky heads and stuff. Any kind of bait, but they seem right now they're just absolutely hammering the big worms out there.
It sounds like
not to go off subject on you, but those giant worms, those 14.5-inch worms, we also use those for blackfin tuna.
No way.
Yep.
You just pull that worm by itself?
No, we put lead heads on them. We put big lead heads on them and troll them. You throw that into a school of tuna, and you'll pull back a fish every time. So
that's awesome. That's I see these tuna shows, and man, it'd be really fun to catch a tuna on a worm. But Bruiser Baits came out with a worm a year and a half ago that I helped develop. It's called the Big Nasty, and it's on their www.bruiserbaits.com, but it's actually 14.5 inches long.
Yeah, and tuna prefer black. So
yeah, they have every color in the book. But other than that, peacock bass fishing's been really strong down in Miami with the hotter temperatures. Their numbers are growing pretty good. So Rapala X wraps and Little Georges and Clouser minnows and stuff are catching the peacock bass in Miami canals and airport lakes right now as well.
Well, anything on the lake itself? Any news about the water quality on the lake? Is it high, low, in between?
Right now, it's the fishing's really strong on Okeechobee. Right now, there was a tournament a couple weeks ago that there was 7 bags over 25 pounds brought back to weigh in.
Wow.
The water level itself, though, is still at a dangerous level for inexperienced anglers. I think it's like just over 11.5 feet. There was an algae bloom, a green algae bloom, spotted offshore over by Cochran's Pass a couple weeks ago, but they haven't been moving water out because of it's so low. They don't have to push any water to any of the rivers off to the sides. I know the governor seems to really be on the ball.
I hope so.
He just set aside like $40 million to build a STA area north of Okeechobee, which would be a first. They usually dig all the holes down south there to clean the water.
It'd be nice to catch it before it gets into the lake.
Yeah, so actually, I don't see. I mean, I can't sit here and say there's not going to be any kind of blooms this summer out in the ocean. But it's not. I don't think it's going to be as effect from Okeechobee as last year because.
Yeah,
there's just not.
I don't think it's going to be anywhere near what last year was.
I hope so.
I think they'll contain it in the. It's weird, Riscala, because a friend of mine, Steve Dial, he drove through an algae bloom, and the shad were just as thick as you can see. The bait fish were just loaded in this bloom, and he stopped in there and he started catching bass and stuff. So I mean, it's hard to explain. What the difference between the impact when it stays on the lake and when it goes up into the brackish water.
Yeah, when it mixes with salt water, it's not good. So
yeah, that we know. 140 miles.
Hopefully that's all contained, but right now across the whole state, summertime bass and is the night bite is off the chain. I mean, there's guys catching 30-pound bags on the Little L and down on the Aerojet Canal down in Miami at night.
Wow.
Just catching giants.
Wow. Monsters. Those are monsters. Jeez.
Yeah, they're catching them on hollow body frogs, black buzz baits. And if you could, put a little spray on and go out and catch it on a windy day where the skeeters ain't that bad, you have a shot at a real giant at night right now.
Gosh. Wow. Well, I'm all out of time, my friend Mike. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you calling in and sharing with us. I'm looking forward to having you back on here in about a month or so, giving us an update of what's going on. And wish you a wonderful day.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good day. And Florida bass, and don't get no better than right now in the summertime. Head out to the alley with your kids and catch them up.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Michael. Greatly appreciate it. Robert, any parting words?
Not a thing, sir. Just check out the magazine if you get a chance at www.flfishmag.com, and I'm going to try to get a hold of some of these folks that we've been talking to today.
Yeah, I'll get you
They got some great stuff out there.
I'll get you some contact info on them. Thank you, Robert. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you, listeners. Greatly appreciate you. We'll be back in a week.